So we're back here at Clyde Crescent, which is the newly named spot for where we removed all of the buckthorn over the last few years. And we're back in here to take care of some of the regrowth. Yesterday we had a crew of about 5 of us. We were taking out a lot of the garlic mustard. Today we'll probably concentrate on some of the smaller buckthorn that's just coming up. That's easy to pull out directly by the roots, or what we're doing is that we're undercutting it. So let me see if I can't find you one that I could show where we would do something like that. So something like this, okay? You would travel all the way down to the base and you would snip it just as far to the base as you can. So hopefully just a little bit underneath the soil. And it's called a critical cutting period because this is the time of year when the plants are shooting up all of their energy into their leaves and the fruit that's going to be coming, and we nip this in the bud, so to speak. So that's what we'll be doing again today. We'll be doing it on Sunday, and we've got 3 days as well scheduled for next week, plus our big buckthorn removal blitz in the middle of June 14th. So if you are having issues with buckthorn on your property, or you're worried about how this is impacting our natural areas, this is a really good spot to come and take a look at the different ways that we are handling it and managing it. So we have replanted. That's always the best practice when you remove an invasive species. For the most part, 99% of invasive plants, you really should do that. There's a few that you need to control for several years before you replant, Japanese knotweed being one of them. But in the case of buckthorn, the research shows that you can pretty much exhaust the seed bank and exhaust the plants under 3 years. So some of these large ones that we had cut, 2 years ago, a lot of these are dying or they're already dead, and we will be able to bring in our big weed wrench and get some of those out. So for example, this one doesn't have anything coming back that we can see, as opposed to this one where there's a lot of regrowth coming out along the sides. So those ones we cannot take out just yet. We'll leave these because they're actually a good indication if the plant is alive or not, and gives us something to work towards. And let me just take a look through some of the other spots, take you on a bit of a tour. So this is honeysuckle. This is another one where, like buckthorn, critical cutting period where we lop it off and then we take out the regrowth. And over a series of, a year, 2 years, we will weaken this plant to the extent that it will not regrow again, giving all of these lovely native species that you see behind the chicken wire, behind the pots, a much better chance at surviving and thriving and regenerating on their own. I captured some lovely raven action this morning, so check out that video as well. Let me just bring you down a little bit farther because the wild strawberries are just going absolutely bananas. Sorry, I'm mixing my fruit metaphors here. But they're so nice to see the little white flowers, and then the berries will start to come up and the birds will just have a field day with those. I'm almost never able to get any of the wild strawberries before the wildlife gets it, which is just fine. So here we've got some lovely wild strawberries. And yeah, you can see another flower coming up here, and then those will turn into the small berries in a couple of weeks. Once we get a little bit warmer weather, our eastern red cedar is doing pretty well. This was not planted, this was here on its own, so we're just protecting it. But it is surrounded, as you can see, by invasive honeysuckle, so we'll be taking care of that. The other plant that's coming back a lot is called creeping bellflower, and you can find that more on the other side. That's a bit of a problem as well, but we do what we do, and we'll control that as well. And yesterday we were treated to at least one catbird, if not 2. And they're called catbirds for a reason, because sometimes they really do sound like cats when they're screaming their little heads off. But they're a very attractive bird. They're a gray bird. They're about the size of a robin, and they have sort of a nice long tail. So look for them and listen for them as well. Let's take a look back in here. What have we got? I think this is an elderberry. No, this is one of our black cherry trees. All right, so that one doesn't look too bad at all. Very nice. So black cherries, beautiful wood, and they have sort of nubbly bark. It's a darker bark once they are big and strong. And it kind of comes in segments. The bark is sort of segmented. I'll try and show you a picture of one from Hampton Park, because we have a lot of mature cherry trees or black cherry trees in Hampton Park. So you can take a little comparison to what they look like when they're small as compared to when they're full size. The other nice thing I see is I see a lot of fall Solomon seal coming back, a lot of the trout lilies up. And the fall Solomon seal is great because that will produce berries later on. And what we do is we usually just take those berries and we spread them around into spots where there is no fall Solomon seal. And from the experiments that I've done over the last few years, that really does seem to work very well. You take the berries, you toss them into a new area, and just give them a light step on, just to get them underneath the soil, touching that soil so that they can grab on, and it makes it a little bit harder for any wildlife to snitch them. Not that we want to take away their food sources, but there's more than enough in these woods for everybody to nosh on, no matter what you are. A bird, or a squirrel, or a fox, or a coyote. Yeah. So it's always a pleasure to be here. And here we have our fearless leader, Nora. It's already setting up for the day.